Welcome back, Guardians. My name is Trams87. Have you ever found yourself looking up at the sky and you see this machine, this enormous miniature-sized moon floating above you? To those of you who are new lights, welcome. Yes, many of you have many questions, and I will try to answer them. Many of you were there before the Red Wall, and so you will understand the stories. But today I'd like to go back, before we move forwards, towards Beyond Light, to shed some light on our beloved Moon X. We called it the Traveller, and its arrival changed us forever. Great cities were built on Mars and Venus. Mercury became a garden world. Human lifespan tripled. It was a time of miracles. We stared out at the galaxy and knew it was our destiny to walk in the light of other stars. But the Traveller had an enemy, a darkness which had hunted it for eons across the black gulfs of space. Centuries after our golden age began, this darkness found us, and that was the end of everything. But it was also the beginning. Even now, the Traveller is shrouded in mystery. One might suggest that attempting to unearth the Traveller, where it came from and what it is, just doesn't make any sense at all. To begin with, I'd like to share a lore entry I believe will reveal some interesting narratives and also give you some insight into the moments before mankind attempted to make contact with the Traveller. After all, the human race had already begun to advance and make progress before the Traveller provided us with an extra boost to our current knowledge of maths, science, geography, history and engineering. Have a listen to this lore entry from the lore book Ares 1, titled Mihaylova's Triumph. It reads, "Think, keep thinking, stay 7 thoughts ahead, always." The situation with E becomes increasingly tenuous. She insists she needs access to all the AI code for her gravity well measurements. which I find highly unlikely. It's simply not necessary, and I've given her all the subroutine code that she should possibly need. But she wants it all. It's absurd. What would she make of the R subsystems if she saw them? R? That's what I've codenamed the deepest core of the experimental AI at the heart of the new ship. And he's doing very well, now writing his own code. Off the charts well. Would E even understand? Likely, she'd go running to Hardy, show him some of the odder items where R has written some of his own code, and seems to be, how can I put it, passing judgment on us? Like a little hidden critic. No. The AI must be protected, so that he can function best in the limited way we need. Now, not sure how to keep her away, but giving her access could be catastrophic. Who is R, you ask? Well, it's probably obvious to those of you who know what the initial stands for. But for our fellow new lights, I'd like to fully explain the situation. E stands for Evie, one of the 4 team members who needs access to R's code in order to make some trajectory adjustments and fine-tunings to R's subroutines. And the creator of the program, Mihaylova, is hiding something and would prefer not to share all her work. Things begin to escalate from this point onward, but in order to explain this important point, I'll need to back up a little bit so you can follow along. Have a listen to this lore entry from the lore book titled Ares 1. Here is what it says. Previously known as Project Catamaran, Ares 1 was a mission to make contact with the traveler on Mars. The project began in response to the sudden and unexpected arrival of the traveler. As the traveler moved throughout the solar system to terraform Jupiter's moons, Mercury and Venus, humanity began to worry about where Moon X would appear next. When the scientists Evie Calumet determined a way to predict the traveler's movements, a multi-international crew was organized to intercept it on Mars. This crew consisted of Jacob Hardy, Evie Calumet, Ulysses Quay, and Mihaylova. Quay served as navigator, Hardy as the pilot, Mihaylova as constructor of the ship's AI. Evie was the theoretical physicist that also had some environmental knowledge. While a part of the Project Catamaran, Mihaylova developed an artificial intelligence that she codenamed R. This AI is heavily implied to be Rasputin. Evie began requesting access to R's entire code, something that Mihaylova refused to give in fear that Evie would discover R's rapid advancements. Quay, who had his own access codes to R, gave them to Evie in an attempt to solve the conflict. 3 days before the launch of Ares 1, Evie went to Mihaylova with the data she discovered. Concerned about R's assessment of the crew members, Evie died the day of the launch due to an accident involving an electrical fire, weak sprinkler, and wet staircase. Her death may not have been an accident, as Mihaylova had mentioned that disaster may occur should Evie learn R's true nature. The launch date was pushed back by 1 day, and the project was renamed Ares 1. Additionally, the crew members were armed. The mission continued, however, and Quay, Hardy and Mihaylova all travelled to Mars to successfully make contact with the traveller. Ares 1's contact with the traveller marked the beginning of humanity's golden age, which was categorised by rapid scientific advancement as well as an increase in human lifespan. Jacob Hardy went on to become a mathematician, studying the nature of light. So every time I read this, it's as if I've started playing Destiny 2 all over again. There is so much to grasp, But the main point here is that R stands for Rasputin. Rasputin caused Evie's death because he could detect Mihaylova's frustration and anger towards Evie, and so he caused the wet staircase, which led to Evie's demise. The end result being only 3 members of the team making contact with the Traveller. Had things taken a different turn, then this alpha version of our fire teams today would have been a total number of 4, not 3. Now, although unconnected, every time anyone is near the Traveller or influenced by it, all manner of craze begins to break loose. Usually, what R did would be classified as a malfunction, or even the Ares 1 team on edge to make it to Mars, as if pulled by some outer worldly force. And yet, when the Ares 1 team met the Traveller, we have no recount of actual tangible workings as to how the Traveller spoke to us, or if at all. I'd like you to have a listen to this lore entry from the book Constellations, titled Dreaming, and it says, "You are the first to dream. In the dream, you are shaping coarse sand with your hands. You lift a handful, and it feels like a shifting of mountains. You drag your fingertip through the dirt to make a twisting line and hear the roar of moving water. You breathe and feel the rush of clean, bright wind in your hair. Suddenly, you are far, far, far up in the air, higher than you've ever been. You have gone to the very top of Freehold's tallest skyscrapers, but this is much higher, and you see the world below with much greater fidelity. It is a beautiful, green world, much greener than any place you've ever been before. It looks like home. I am the first to dream. The dream can happen at any time. A veil drops in front of my eyes and I see strange moving images. I am someone else, or I am myself, reimagined. I can't say. In the dreams, I shape planets with my own hands. At first, I believe I am mad. The clinicians at Braywell call it interplanetary relocation maladjustment psychosis, a psychobabble catch-all for mental disturbances they can't explain. Other people searching for certainty call it prophecy, but all I can offer are loose, tangible connection that I painstakingly unravel when I dream. I am drawn to the bright and attentive star. I speak to it through movement, through feeling. It understands implicitly. Now I stand before a crowd. Their murmuring is the bone-deep rumble of shifting tectonic plates. A screen behind me plays looping blurry footage of the Traveller terraforming Venus. The images radiate with pale light. We've watched this footage many times. I glide through space as if through water, tugged in 9 directions by 9 impulses. In front of the crowd I sway a little, a copse of trees bending in a dream wind. I can't help it. I'm dreaming more often than not. There is whispering from the deep dark, alluring and terrifying, a reminder of things left behind, bittersweet and abhorrent. A crackle of static on the screen behind me brings me back to earth, resetting my feet firmly on the ground. These people have come here for my insights. I lean forward and speak to the crowd. 4 tenets. Aching with truth. The Traveller is a force of benevolence. The Traveller is a sentient being with free will, dreams, hopes and fears. The Traveller will save us. The Traveller will leave us. I don't know about you, but why does everything with the Traveller always end with gloom? The Traveller is a force of benevolence, but also the Traveller is a sentient being with free will, dreams, hopes and fears. Personally, this makes me feel like the traveler is inclined to be emotional. Free will suggests the traveler can decide to or not decide to, which is even scarier than I thought. It, she, or he will save us, but ultimately leave us. In the first collapse, the traveler was going to run, but something crippled it and stopped it from running. Was it Clovis Bray who made a move to cripple it? Or was it a foreign act? Could it have been the exo-stranger? The truth is, we'll never know. But there is hope, Guardian. Perhaps in Beyond Light, all will be revealed, so that we might better understand these forces that are at play. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope that you've enjoyed it. If you have, feel free to leave a like or comment letting me know if you did. And if by any chance you'd be interested in seeing more lore videos, then please consider subscribing and clicking the bell notification to get notified when I upload my next lore video. Thank you so much for the support and positive comments and constructive ones. I remain humbled by your kindness, always. And remember that no matter what you're going through right now, in this moment or tomorrow, you can do all things. Stay safe and Godspeed.